Hey everyone, I've got some important news to share with you. That's right, it's about Japan's new COVID procedures that went live just a few days ago. This system is broken down into 3 sections: immigration, customs, and quarantine. Even though we were able to go in depth on immigration and customs, the most important one, the quarantine section, was not available until November 1st. This had a lot of people asking me questions such as, Alex, are there going to be new COVID requirements to enter Japan? Alex, is the new COVID procedure going to be more difficult? However, we don't need to speculate any longer, as the quarantine section is now available, and everyone can breathe a sigh of relief, as it's mostly good news. However, before we celebrate, there are some important changes from this update you need to know. Today, we're going to quickly recap the immigration and customs section, and then dive straight into the quarantine section and what to expect. And as a bonus, I have scoured the internet and got some first-hand feedback from some very helpful subscribers that have completed all 3 sections of the Visit Japan website. And combining the feedback and the research, I've compiled a list of best practices when using this website to make the process as easy as possible. This way, I can help best prepare you for the airport and make sure your entry into Japan is an easy one.
Nice.
Alright, let's get you one step closer to entering Japan. To quickly recap, the 2 sections, immigration and customs, are both simply the electronic versions of the paper forms that have you fill out on the plane. The immigration section will ask where you'll be staying, the purpose of staying, and how long you'll be staying. This part should take you no more than 5 to 10 minutes to complete. Even though the electronic form won't help you skip the long immigration lines to get your passport stamp, filling out the electronic version of the form can give you a big head start, ahead of the people that did not fill out the form prior to arriving. As for the customs section, this part is to make sure you're not trying to bring anything illegal or extremely expensive through the airport. For the majority of you, this should also be a quick process, as I imagine you'll just have a suitcase for clothes and maybe another empty suitcase for all the souvenirs you'll try and bring home. But you should check out this video so you can bring unlimited souvenirs home. However, if you're like me and planning on bringing your pet crocodile into the country, or be like Ibrahim and have a big gold brick on you, then you might be in trouble. Anyways, when you finish both sections, you'll get a QR code for each one. If you want more information on this, check out my last video as I go much more in depth on these 2 sections. Well, now that we've gone over the quick refresher, let's get into the real subject of the video, the new COVID procedure to get into Japan. So as we discussed, the new quarantine section has been released, and as I had predicted in my last video, it is almost the same process as submitting your information through the MySOS app. However, there are 2 major differences with this change. First, now that this is accessible through a website and not just an app, you can now easily enter your information on your computer as well. You can easily upload all your information into the site, giving you much more flexibility to complete this process, because you can still do the whole process on your phone as well. Second, unlike the MySOS app, there have been some cases where people have not received their QR code for the quarantine section until their entire application has been reviewed and approved. So if you've completed filling in your information for the quarantine section and still not received your QR code, don't worry just yet. It will appear once someone reviews and approves your application. Aside from that, the procedure for filling out your quarantine information is relatively easy. Just upload a photo of your passport, complete the questionnaire, and then either provide your vaccination status or a negative PCR test using Japan's pre-made form. Refer to this video for the specifics about proper vaccine forms and PCR tests. Once you complete all the information, it'll usually take 1 to 2 days for them to approve the application or send it back for corrections. How do I know this? Well, this helpful subscriber shared his overall experience and shared about how long it took for the process to get approved, which for him was about 1 to 2 days. By the way, check out his YouTube channel and follow his exciting adventure in Japan he has coming up. Alright Alex, it's great and all knowing the whole process now, but how long should I wait to fill out the quarantine section? If I already completed the MySOS information, will I have to do this again? Alright, with all these questions being asked, I think it's a good time to move to the best practices section. Even though this website has just been released, there are already several questions about this new process. And after doing a lot of searching and getting some feedback from subscribers, we will address these concerns with some best practices I've compiled to help everyone out. But before we start, kids can be listed under a parent or guardian as an accompanying member, and parents can fill their information in for them. I hope that helps you out, Mark G. Alright, tip number 1. Fill out your COVID information about 14 days out from your departure. According to Japan's Fast Track website, because of the sheer volume of requests they're receiving, they are prioritizing people who are arriving in less than 2 weeks. I also recommend this because the policies can change again, and it would just be a pain to do it all over again. This 2-week window will give you plenty of time to make sure you get the blue screen and the approved QR code, or to make some changes if they send back your application with required corrections. Tip number 2. Screenshot or print out your QR codes, and have your actual vaccine certificate, or PCR documents ready to show. Just because all your information was approved on the website with no problem, doesn't mean there will not be a problem when you get to the airport. Whether it be your phone breaking, running out of battery, or not having enough cell phone signal to pull up the website, any of these problems could be a disaster if you don't have any backup documents ready. The last thing you'd want is to be turned away at the airport just because you forgot one slip of paper that you left at home. Tip number 3. Getting the passport and questionnaire in the quarantine section to work properly. I have seen people report online the passport and questionnaire section being the most difficult to complete. People have reported it took them several tries to get either of them to work properly. For the passport, make sure there is no glare blocking the passport photo or the information provided. That seems to be the biggest problem people are having. For the questionnaire part, if you cannot get it to load, make sure to clear your cache or use a different browser. People have consistently been reporting problems when they use Google Chrome, so keep that in mind when choosing which browser to do your application on. Tip number 4. For people who have already completed the MySOS app, I would recommend taking a little extra time to transfer your information over to the website anyways. Even though Japan has stated they will continue to accept already approved MySOS apps until January 13th, 2023, it will create less confusion if you take the extra time to fill out your information on the Visit Japan website again. Starting November 14th, they will be searching for your QR code on the Visit Japan website. Having 2 different apps to show could be time consuming and confuse the staff as well. This also goes back to my first tip, where I recommend to not start your application too early, as new information could come into effect well before your trip. I hope you found this video helpful. If you did, check out this video for things to do in Tokyo, and this video for super important tourist tips you need to know. Alright, well until next time, I'll see you then.